like it matters anyway, right? All right. So tonight, welcome everybody. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. We are broadcasting live on YouTube, and we, of course, are live on Zoom with all of our participants. Thank you to Rick and Dave and Dave and Dave and Dave and Dave and Micah and Joseph and Dave and Dan and Dave and Dave and Jonathan and Ken. And there's so many of you guys out there. Oh, and Dave and Bill and Dave.
Yeah,
So
you should change the name to the Southwest Florida DaveNet.
yeah, I think this is. You know what? I just realized we have enough Daves for a quorum. Uh,
Yeah,
Whatever
probably.
that
I
means.
was going to start a Rick Radio Club.
Oh well, I appreciate you guys all coming in tonight, and it's been a crazy week again. My back's a mess. I'm wearing my back brace tonight. I should be able to get the 3 hours done here, um, but just know that I am a little pain challenged here. And I just got off the radio, and we had a fun show tonight. I love Freestyle Friday shows; they're my favorite on the commercial radio, and I also kind of like it here too because tonight we're going to go through a bunch of different things. I've got a mystery tonight that we're going to try to solve. I've got a little bit of news. I got some different things, some space weather. We'll talk a little bit about the eclipse last night, and there's just a lot of things for tonight. But also, I'm looking for you guys to bring topics. So we will have a little more time than usual tonight to tackle any issues that you guys are having around the shack.
Actually, I
So
think we should see if Big Bird can fly. Drop him out of an aircraft and see what happens.
yeah, Big Bird is like 800-pound bird, and he's got wings that are like a foot and a half long. I don't think that bird's flying. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the last segment on the drive tonight, the show I produce at work, was about Sesame Street. And just, I'm not going to get into the political reasons why we were discussing Sesame Street, but we were discussing Sesame Street. And I even bumpered in with Sesame Street music in the whole bit. It was pretty cool. But anyway, so that's why we've had 3 references so far to Sesame Street. Anyway, there you go. The newsletter came out today. A little bit. I'm liking this new format, the PDF format. And what I've been doing was I used to create the newsletter, and then I would create all the slides for the show. And what I've decided to do now is, since the newsletter is in a much better format, is I can do a lot of the show with the newsletter, and I don't have to recreate the wheel every week, and it's saving me about an hour's worth of time. So we'll see how it works tonight. You guys can let me know if it's bad or if it's not working properly. But basically, what I'm going to do, I actually have I have the newsletter up, and I'm basically just going to go through it. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is the newsletter here. You guys can see that, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the latest one that just came out today, and I'm going to be putting this out on Fridays. I've decided to go ahead and this needs to come out along. This is going to be basically the companion to the TechNet. It's going to be a lot of the things we're going to be discussing on the TechNet will be in here. I'm going to put links to what we're discussing in the TechNet in the newsletter. I'm basically trying to integrate the newsletter and the TechNet even more together. And this is basically like the manual that goes along with the show. And so I hope that it works. You guys can let me know of any input that you have. I'm going to be sending out another survey in about a month. I want this to sink in. I want to have about 6 weeks of this under my belt, and then I'm going to send out a survey and get you guys' opinion again. This newsletter and this net are reflecting about 32 different things that I got out of the input that you guys put in last time in that survey. So we're going to try again and get some more input on that pretty soon. We're in the TechNet right now. The tropics are quiet. This will be the last week I'm going to be reporting on the tropics until June. So there'll be no reason to report on that. If there is some kind of fluke storm, which does happen, of course, we can add it back in. I got a new section tonight called Mystery of the Week. Each week I'm going to put a radio-based mystery. It could be electronics mystery. More than likely, a lot of them are going to be mysteries on the radio, things we're hearing, things that Joseph and I may hear, things you guys send me. Hey, look, I'm hearing this on 75 meters. Let's do a mystery segment on it. And then I'll put the file in so they can hear it before the show. in the newsletter, and then that way when the show starts, you guys have already heard it, and you maybe have tried to figure it out. It'll give us a little bit better preparedness for the net. So that's going to be cool. We're going to get to that here in just a minute. Ham radio events this weekend. There's really nothing around here this weekend. It's not even a swap shop weekend. But we're going to get into it. Sweeps is this week. Single sideband sweeps. If you like phone and you're disappointed about the fact that nobody talks on phone anymore, all that changes for 2 days starting in the morning. And we're going to talk about that coming up, so don't go anywhere. If you guys have something, interrupt me, please, because I can't see you. When I go to capture screen mode, I lose my Brady Bunch screen, so I cannot see you guys. So please, Joseph, yell at me if someone has a question, I don't see them. And you guys just say, hey, I got a question, and I'll come right to you. Okay, the Montgomery Ham Fest is this weekend, if anybody happens to be in the Montgomery, Alabama area. The big one for this area coming up is going to be the Tampa Bay Ham Fest, and that's in Plant City. I hear this is a good one. Has anybody been to this one?
Several years ago, I went there. It's not bad. So yeah, it's if you want.
Yeah, I mean, this one might be that one for our area. Plant City is 2 hours from here. It's not that far of a drive.
No.
I mean, that used to be a long way in the day, but now 2 hours up the road really isn't that far anymore. All right, so but that's. Does anybody else have any announcements of events or any happenings going on in the ham radio community this weekend? Nothing? Okay. All right, let's go to the next thing. Space weather. Last night we had this really cool eclipse. Unfortunately, we were under a cloud deck and couldn't really see it. My wife and I did go out about 3 o'clock and couldn't see it. I walked back out at 3:30 and I could see it. Yes, my wife and I go to bed early and get up early. I guess we're getting old. But anyway, we were up and we saw it about 3:30. The clouds broke and we saw it at about 75%, and that was really cool. So if you didn't see it though, you really didn't miss much last night. I don't think you would have saw much unless you just happened to be out there right at that moment that little clear spot goes by. But for most of us, we didn't see it. But what's neat about this eclipse, and the reason I bring it up even more than normal here, is because this is the longest eclipse, the longest partial eclipse that we've had in 600 years. And the reason for that is because the moon is at perigee, which means it's at its farthest orbit, its farthest point away from Earth. And therefore, it took a lot longer for the moon's shadow to pass all the way by us and no longer cast a shadow on the planet. So that's really cool. Anyway, I just, does anybody have any questions on this? I just thought it was a really cool thing. The shots of it have been great coming in. Here's a couple from around the country. But truthfully, let me see if I can get this to switch gears here. Maybe not.
You got the term reversed. Apogee is the furthest away and perigee is the closest.
Closest. Okay.
Okay, well, it's what Space Weather has here. But yes, thank you for that clarification. Yeah, this is the photograph of the moon here. Look at this. This is just one of the most amazing shots I've ever seen right here. Is that amazing? That's on the front cover of spaceweather.com right now. All right, there we go. And thank you for that correction. I get all my terms backwards. I'm dyslexic.
Montezuma, Georgia.
Yep. All right, so let's go back to here. And let's go back again. I think I can just run it this way. No. Oh, that's great. Okay, let's just do this again. Okay, so anyway, I really don't like that it's not in the big player, but that's okay. All right, let's just do this. There we go. Okay, so anyway, there's some good shots of the moon there. The solar flux is still at 78, but there is a solar wind stream going by over this weekend. It's not going to be a big one, but it could actually jack our solar flux index up to 80s or 90s. That will help for our single sideband competition. This may be the last year for a while that we have, solar minimums here. This is really not going to be a great weekend for propagation, but you have to remember the neat thing about sweeps, as much as I'm not a big ARRL fan, the biggest thing about sweeps is the fact that so many people participate in sweeps that there's just a high concentration of people with big stations working traffic jams for hours at a time. And it's a great way to practice your contesting, great way to get on HF. I'm going to turn my ICOM 756 Pro 2 on tomorrow morning for the first time in probably 3 months. I haven't used it. It's my voice radio on HF. I don't bother because nobody ever talks to me on HF. So this is going to be great. I'm going to look at this. I got a great microphone, and I'm going to get to use my microphone tomorrow. So I'm kind of stoked about that. I love HF phone, and I love working traffic jams, and I love dialing up things, and it's just a lot of fun. So that's coming up. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's your Aurora forecast. Not really much going on for Auroras right now. And then your muffs down here. I want to show you this. This may be a little difficult to see, but this graphic right here represents the solar cycles, and you can see when each solar cycle peaked out. You can see here that the blue line is 21, the black line is 22, the red line's 23, the pink one's 24, and my phone's ringing.
Yeah, it's probably a scam.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how people forget that I'm doing stuff. Let's see here. And then this solar cycle is this weird brown color that ends right here. Do you see that? That's where we're at right now. And this is the total number of months into the solar cycle. And then, of course, this is the number of monthly sunspots going up this way. This is a great graphic because we're trying to see how far on track we are right now. And we're a little low right now, but that doesn't mean anything really. Well, but we want to watch this as we start getting up into this range up here in another 10 months or so. We should be up in this range up here, and it's going to be a lot better. All right, terrestrial weather for this weekend. For those of you in the Fort Myers area, I'll just go real quick. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy, and then Sunday we're going to have rain moving in on Sunday towards afternoon, and then also on Monday morning and Monday afternoon rain, and then we got this huge cool down coming, and looks like 49 for a morning low. So that's a blizzard for Florida.
Blizzard,
that's an absolute
Fort Myers.
blizzard for Florida. All right, I love this here. All these guys are laughing, and it says, and she says, "I don't need another ham radio." Okay. There's no hurricanes. We already talked about that. The swap shop is next weekend. Okay, ham radio news. Newest hams in space. We've got amateurs on board the International Space Station, and the actual commander of the current expedition is an amateur radio operator. And their names and call signs are up there. I'm not going to try to read all these names and everything because I'll just butcher them all up. But they're all up there. The test pilot from Iowa is the first rookie to command the NASA mission in several decades. The mission is expected to last 6 months. Those expeditions are 6 months long. That's a long time to be in space. But you have to remember, along with testing the system and testing space and running all these tests, we're also testing the astronauts to see how space reacts on them. Remember a while back we had the twins? We sent the one guy up for 6 months or whatever, and we left the other guy down here. And that was a way to test the differences that happened to the guy in space versus the guy here. What we're finding as more studies happen, what NASA and what the space programs and private space programs, what everybody's finding is that gravity is integral to our health. and that anytime we are without gravity, our health immediately begins to decline. Everything from bone density, muscle mass, chemically, everything in our body begins to degrade, to atrophy, to just go bad. And what we have to do, you notice all the space shows, they either have artificial gravity, which is a man-made uh, gravitational field, which we don't know how to make yet. The other thing is they have the big ship that spins. You guys see that? Like on The Martian, one of my favorite movies in the whole world. The ship in that, it spins because these guys are in this ship for 12 months or whatever. And being on that ship for 12 months, not being in gravity could be fatal to them. They would degrade to the point that they wouldn't be able to do their jobs or return home. So they spin it so that they can live on the outside of the ring. And if you spin it at just the right speed, you have 1-to-1 gravity on the outside of the ring. It works perfectly using centrifugal force as a gravitational force. So anyway, there you go. That's how that works. The astronauts dodged debris. Apparently, the Russians decided, hey, you know what? We're going to blow up this old satellite because we want to prove to you that we are a threat in space too. And so anyway, they blew up this thing and the junk scattered everywhere. And our guys had to literally get into the rescue capsules in order to, in case there was an emergency, they could just detach and get away from the station quickly. What a mess. I mean, I think that was very irresponsible of them guys, but whatever. And this is interesting. Here is a story. They're really working on reducing the size of antennas, especially when they're dealing with upper frequencies and stuff. And they're actually working on everything, including a wallpaper that actually has the antenna built into the wallpaper. So I thought there was some really cool stuff here. There's some really neat stuff that's coming out there in amateur radio and in radio in general. And the world of DX, I'm going to leave that for you guys. That's in here. It's in the newsletter if you want to check it out. I try to put in, I get these from several different sources. And these are just the DX stations that are operating out there if you're trying to hit a special station. Most of these are fairly hard to get, but they're out there for a while and you might be able to get them. All right, my two funny boners of the week. This is a new segment that I added. There's a lot of ham radio memes out there, and there's a lot of cool ham radio jokes and things like that. And so I decided to start adding a couple every week to a segment that I call Funny Boners. And if you think that's dirty, that's because you got a dirty mind, because it's just funny bone with an ers at the end. Funny bones are not sexual. Anyway, just for the record. Anyway, I love this one. Bones, how are the bands? They're dead, Jim. Or no, I didn't do it right. So, Bones, how are the bands? They're dead, Jim. That's better. And then over here you got Skipper. I love this one. I saw this and I howled, dude. He's like, are you going to call for help? And he's like, QSL, good luck on the contest, 7-3. The skipper decided to do the ARRL QSL sweepstakes instead of calling for help. I don't know why, but anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. All right, the mystery of the week. I love this, guys. I had my aircraft tracking program on, right? And I'm like, okay, so I see the same thing every day. I'm looking at it right now. I got big planes. I got little planes. They're all going from Miami to somewhere to Miami, RSW. I see the med chopper take off. I see the sheriff's chopper circling around the bad neighborhood. I see all of this, okay? And I love this thing. And then all of a sudden, the other day, I see this. Is that cool or what? These two planes, this one right here, you guys can see where my cursor is, and this one right here, laid down a pattern across the entire county of Lee.
Ian,
with the exception of Boca Grande and Bonita Springs. Yes.
Did you see at RSW this week was the new Boeing 777 whatever?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was there for a few days. I wonder if it was anything to do with that. because they've been testing it all over the country for various things, but it looks like it's a pretty tight turn for a 777, because that's will be, when it's in production, it'll be the largest twin engine aircraft. But it was at RSW for a few days.
Right.
They were playing
That's interesting.
great.
I agree with you, though. The pattern's too tight here for that. It's also the altitude's too low. Both of these planes, one's at 3854 feet. The other one is at 3843 feet. When I look them up, they come up as private with no registration information and no photographs, which is fairly rare. Even like military sometimes will come up, military aircraft or, civil aviation or what, it'll come up something. These just come up private, no information, no registration, no flight plan.
And they weren't spraying for mosquitoes.
They are definitely not mosquito control. I know how they come up. The other thing is, none of the agents that we spray for the control of mosquitoes would last this long in a plane. These planes would take off and scan half the county and then leave. So this pattern took several hours for each of these planes to do.
Did they both come from the same direction?
I don't know if you can see on here.
Maybe it's got something to do with Google.
It may be something Google's doing.
Yeah, Google Earth.
Yeah.
They fly airplanes around with special LiDAR camera systems on them where they get the three-dimensional terrain information for the Google Earth.
And that very well could be it, Joseph.
It could be Apple Maps as well. They do the same
Or
thing.
China?
Or China, yeah.
No, they'd be flying sideways if it was China.
Or Joseph with his drones.
Yeah, it was probably me.
Well, if it was Apple, they'd have charged me to get this picture. So
Yep.
that was bad. I'm sorry.
They'd have their own proprietary airplanes that you're not allowed to service.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you guys, this one kind of got me a little bit. Here's a couple more. The picture on the left was the day before. They were doing Charlotte County. And this other plane down here was doing Lee, but he was doing it at a much lower level. So I don't know if that was related or not. And the photo on the right over here is actually the same photo as the one above. It's just that's when they started. You can see that's kind of the start of the process. One of them went out and started out past Sanibel. And notice they specifically went like 20 miles off the coast, or I'm sorry, a mile or two off the coast and started there. And then, so it very well probably is Google mapping or some kind of topographical mapping. But I just thought that was interesting. How often do you see, have you ever seen anything like that? Other than mosquito control, they'll do about 6 laps and then they'll head back to Buckingham.
That's what I thought it was mosquito control.
And the mosquitoes, though, are lower, aren't they? They're only like 1,000,
Yes,
1,500
control,
feet.
they run 2 different types of planes and spray several different products, but both of them are dispersed from a much lower rate. You're absolutely right. Usually under 1,000 feet even.
Yeah.
They fly right at the top of the antennas, where these planes here were up at 3,800 feet. That's I guess it's still low enough that you can get high resolution photographs. And both days that these photographs were being taken were crystal clear, beautiful days. So anyway, there's our mystery of the day.
Sure.
All right.
What is it?
So I guess we're going to have to kind of, well, I guess the consensus is it's some kind of mapping project or measuring or mapping. I tend to agree. Isn't that crazy?
You didn't get a visual on any of the planes, did you?
I didn't. I didn't. I actually wanted to. And something else I didn't do? I didn't capture the registration information, although it didn't say much.
Yeah, I think you said
but next time I will try to get more information, be more of a sleuth about it. But I just started capturing pictures because it was like, it was kind of amazing to me. I have a couple more here. Let me see if I can get that over here out of the way. All right. That's one of my shows I do. Okay, let's see here. I've got a couple more, but they are. Yeah, this one's pretty much the same thing. This one here, this was a different day, and I'm not sure if this was related or not. But these are two different planes. He's at 3852. He's a little lower, about 1,000 feet lower than the other planes were. That could simply be some kind of training or something there. But they generally don't train over little cities and big cities.
No.
So I really don't know. Let's see here. And then that was the other one I had, just some more random ones that I got. But it was just, it's interesting to me that, it's interesting anyway. Anybody have anything on that? What do you guys think?
I don't know what that could be, but my guess is on that on the 3D mapping. I bet if you check Google Earth or Apple Maps here in the next month or so, you'll find updated. If you go to over your house or something, it'll be updated with a much more recent scan. I should check our area too, because it looks like they flew over us as well. Ours has been outdated ever since we got here. It still shows a dirt lot.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Well, and Google originally was using satellite data, but if you think about it, if you're taking photographs from 3 different angles from a plane that's at 4,000 feet, that's 3D mapping. I mean, you're literally getting it in 3 dimensions. And then if you figure each lap probably gets the whatever's under the other laps on each side of it. So they're actually capturing everything from multiple angles all the way around. They could recreate that recreate that image in 3D for you.
And maybe next time we go in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it'll be higher resolution. That would have to be Bing Maps, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, Facebook just changed its name. Now, Facebook itself staying Facebook, but the parent company has now called Meta.
Oh gosh.
And they've changed their name to Meta.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy. And it's because they're going to move the world into some new virtual reality, this and that. And it's all going to be based on virtual reality. And,
They're going to smoke funny weed and then try to move everybody to that reality, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I sometimes think it's too much weed out there, and sometimes I think it's not enough.
All
right.
stuff.
Anyway.
They got stuck.
Ian, just a quick, Ian, on the maps.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've just looked at what am I looking at here? I'm looking at Google Maps of my house, and this has got to be fairly new. I'm kind of just south of that pattern because I don't keep, my Jaguar is parked on the drive, and I don't keep it there in the summer, and last winter I didn't keep it there. So, and I know the pictures we put before were different. So this is fairly new. This is from at least the end of September. Well, really the beginning of October. So this my picture has been updated of my area. So I don't know, and I'm just south of the bottom of where you were showing. So
well, and I can only imagine the next day they went and did Collier County because they were working their way south. I saw them that first day, and then the next day they did Lee County. So I can only imagine they were working their way down.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually in Lee, but only by about 100 yards.
I don't know if you guys, I want to show you guys something. A lot of people don't realize something that Google Maps does that I think is really cool. When you're in, let me put you back on the screen here. When you're in Google Maps, you can virtually visit places in Google Maps really easy. And we were talking about this on my other show I produced earlier this week, because people don't realize when you want to visit a town, like if you want to visit Fort Myers, you can literally go into wherever you want to visit. Like if I want to see, oh, look, here's a mall. It's the Edison Mall. Well, I wonder what that looks like inside. You can go right down here. See the little guy right here down in the bottom right corner? See, you grab him, and as soon as you move him off his pedestal, everything turns blue where they have photographs.
Where you can put
You see that?
I've done this a lot.
I'm going to move him back and drop him back in his hole, and that goes away. Now I'm going to move him again so you can see everything turns blue. See all those circles right there? Those are all 360-degree photographs that have been taken inside that place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can go over here and you can look down in the mall. Now I want to know what it looks like down inside the mall. So I dropped the little guy on that circle right there, and bada bing, I'm inside the store, inside the mall.
Wow.
How about that?
So you can visit any place on Earth now, and there's more and more places being added every day. When we went to, hold on, we went to the Gaylord Resort in Nashville, Tennessee. Look at this beautiful place. Has 3 big domes. We visited here, right? And what was great about this place was before we even went there, I was able to grab the little guy and look. Where do you want to see? We can go in here and, oh, here's what it's like in the restaurant. I actually ate in here. Look at that. Isn't it neat? We stayed here. What an amazing place. We stayed in that room right there. But anyway, yeah, what an amazing, neat place this is.
Street View, December 2016.
Yep. So you can take this again and move it right there, and boom, you're right in the middle of the grand atrium where they have the big light show at night and stuff. Look at this. Is that amazing or what?
Wow.
It's not allowed in our development.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
come in.
a lot of gated communities will have the car just turn around before they even go in.
Yeah. I just looked. You can see the main gate. You can see the gatehouse, but you can't go in.
Yeah, they won't follow somebody in like everybody else does.
No, we got our barriers are the opposite. That they sometimes they're so bad that you can't get in even with your pass because they're so quick. They've gone down a couple of times. We have a lot of mulch delivered by Home Depot. They'll go down between the truck and the trailer.
Yeah. It used to be my pleasure to get in those places. I worked for a small time. The radio station laid me off for about 9 months, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I worked doing scanning for a repossession company, and I had to get into all those places at night. And there was only 3, one in Collier and 2 in Lee, that I wasn't able to get in, and we eventually got codes into those. I was able to get in every one of them by just following residents in, and go find them gates that are broken. God, security is an illusion, you know.
Yeah.
All right, but you know what? It's an illusion that does keep you safe because it works most of the time.
Whenever
Anyway, back to Fort Myers now. I don't know if there's what else we could look at here, but I just want to give you one more quick example. Let's go down to Fort Myers Beach. Let's say you wanted to visit Fort Myers Beach, we'll throw the little guy here, and there's a spot right down here. Where do you want to see? There's Times Square. We can go right to Times Square. We're inside the store. And you can literally just zoom right in and look at the prices of stuff and everything. It's pretty amazing. Some of the cameras have better resolution because these are all taken by actual people. And then if you want to go out,
whoa, look down.
Clicking, huh?
Look down. Is this above somebody? Whoa.
That's the
Oh, look at that!
the guy holding us.
He's holding the camera.
Yep. Right there.
Coke or Pepsi, dude. But yeah, so we're getting ready to take a trip to St. Augustine in a little while, in like a month or so, and I've been virtually going around. Even though I've been to St. Augustine a bunch of times, we were virtually traveling the other night there, and it was a lot of fun. Here we go, down by the pier on the beach.
There's
But I
a
mean,
live
talk
camera
about,
on that pier.
yeah, I mean, you talk about being able to check a place out before you go there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they even have these things in Walmarts and stuff. You can check out anything and see when it gives you an arrow, you can click the arrow and it brings you to the next camera.
Oh, yeah. I've used this.
And if you see an arrow, it'll bring you to the next one, and it'll bring you to the next one. And you can just work your way down the beach and, hey, your visit. And guess what? This works with VR glasses.
That's what I was about to say. If you have a pair of Google Cardboard goggles, you can get them for like $1 in some places. There's actually a pair sitting down at the swap shop right now. If you have a phone and you put the phone in there, you can go into the Google Street View mode and look around in VR. It's actually pretty cool. Resolution is not great because the phone screen is being magnified a whole bunch, and especially on phones with low resolution screens, it's not as it'll look kind of blurry, but it's not an actual VR headset, you know. But
Something I've done with this is to go to list all the old addresses where I used to live and go to all those places on here. You can actually key in the street address and it'll take you there.
Yep. And another thing is like if you're wanting to stay at a place, a lot of times you can find places that actually have somebody that's gone into one of the rooms and done it, so you can see what the actual rooms look like inside.
Wow, look at that.
I'm telling you guys, man, I don't do anything without checking that stuff out anymore, man.
Hey, you might as well.
Yeah, it is a nice room.
Not sure about the colors.
That wall is not high enough to keep my mom snoring out.
No.
When we travel, my wife and I, we will stay with my mom to save money, but man, she snores.
December 2015. I bet the TV has been replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, they screw them to the wall now, don't they?
Yeah.
That was freestanding.
Yeah, that way you can't walk out with it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, even the pictures are screwed to the wall. Don't ask me. Don't ask me how I know.
All right. Well, does anybody have any questions about this? Because this is something, like I said, I went through on Google because I thought it was such a cool thing. I've been using this for a few years now. This is not something new. And if you have a 360 cam, all you have to do is go onto Google and use your Google account, and you just sign up for it, and you can start sending your pictures in. It gets the GPS and does everything automatically.
You
just
can
hold the
also
camera and snap the picture.
you can also take 360 pictures with a normal phone.
Panorama.
There's a feature built into the Google Street View app where you can just take it's like taking a panorama, but you go and you do a 360 on all angles.
Yeah.
And it's not so good for like rooms and bedrooms and stuff because there is a lot of lens distortion whenever you're actually moving the phone around versus taking the picture from a singular point like a 360 camera does. But if you're in an open area, you can't even tell it's not like a real 360 camera. It's probably higher resolution too.
It's kind of amazing all the places that the Google vehicle traveled to. I mean, you can, it's just.
Hey, I know where that is.
Yeah, everywhere the vehicle drove, the vehicle that's right here that you can't see. That's what's neat, how they make the vehicle invisible. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, they put the camera facing backwards and drive down the street. So it looks like you're driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. Kind of an amazing thing anyway. All right, guys.
Played hours playing with this kind of thing. You can go, like I said, you can go back to all the places that you lived before and see what it looks like now, or you can go places you've never been. Went to, what's that island just south of Australia? I had to go down there just one time.
Madagascar.
Yeah, not Madagascar. What is it, Tanzania? What is it?
Oh, yeah, Tanzania.
Yeah.
Tasmania.
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 Okay, yeah. So,
That's
yeah,
where the devil lives.
Yeah, you can go down there and tour around and all kinds of places, you know, in New Zealand and all kinds of fun places. Yeah, there it is.
If you'd asked me where Tasmania was, I would have failed the test, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. It's a bit ways south of Australia, but yeah, it's kind of fun to tour around.
That's almost to the end of the Earth because the Earth ends at Antarctica, remember?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's right by
There's
the
a
edge of
mad
the Earth.
penguin waiting there for you.
The last thing you want to do is fall off of the planet, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I got some.
I mean, 1 minute you're walking, the next minute you're off the side of the
You're
side of the
out in
planet.
the abyss someplace.
Well, that's why Antarctica, you know, it's pretty big because it's, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
I've got a little mini topic I can bring here.
Yeah, if you want to do it now, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I recently discovered this feature. So if you're on a Linux, kind of switch modes here. On a
I'm gonna
Linux
step out for
computer-
just a second.
Say what?
I got to step out for just a
Oh,
second.
okay.
Be right back. It's all yours, brother.
Okay, so if you have a Linux computer running Pop! OS or any distribution that uses GNOME, I believe, as the desktop environment, it has this feature built in, which Windows 7 used to have, but has since been removed. And that's the ability to create a Wi-Fi hotspot using your laptop's Wi-Fi adapter. Used to in Windows 7, you could go in and you could create an ad hoc network. Is how it was worded. And it would create a little hotspot and you could share your network connection over that or whatever else you
Bill
want to do.
Gates was lobotomized, and that's why that's.
Yeah. They got rid of it. But I recently, in this whole thing that's been going on with moving, at our other house we have, the Wi-Fi in the bedroom I stay in is terrible. It is horrible. It barely gets up there. I moved the antennas on the router and everything, and it still doesn't get up there very well. So I have a really long Ethernet cable that I ran up to the room, which is also where the Raspberry Pi and software-defined radio plug in. But I actually connected the laptop to it, and I found this feature, and there's a couple interesting things about. Let me just share the screen here. So to get to it, you go to your settings, and you see here on the side the little menu bar, and you go to Wi-Fi, and then there's these three dots over here, and you click Turn on Wi-Fi Hotspot, and it will ask you for a SSID and a password. And when you turn it on, if I turn this on, it may kick me off the Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to turn it on. But that's how you get to it. 3 buttons, turn on Wi-Fi hotspot. It's a little bit hidden, but it's there. You turn it on, and it gives you a QR code. And if you have a phone, you just open the camera app or even the settings app and go to your Wi-Fi, and you can just open the camera over the QR code, and it'll connect to it. And I actually discovered 2 things by doing this. One, that it really helped the Wi-Fi issue because it was like having a router sitting right on the desk in the room, running off Ethernet. It was really great. It solved my internet problem. The other thing I found was that I had been running a modified kernel on my laptop. I had replaced it with a high performance kernel. I was experimenting with it at the time, trying to see just if it would really make any difference. And it seemed like it did, but now I'm not really sure if it was really worth it because the laptop would actually freeze after about it would sometimes freeze after like a minute, and other times it would freeze after an hour. Just the whole system would completely lock up while running the hotspot. It wouldn't lock up otherwise. If you're running the hotspot, it would lock up and the network would still be visible, but if you were connected to it, no data would come through. So I actually went back and replaced the stock kernel on the laptop, and that fixed the problem. So that was just kind of interesting. I was using the XanMod kernel, which has supposedly got better resource handling, like better timing and everything. I don't know a whole lot about it. I was just trying it out for just to see if it actually made a difference.
Joseph, I'll tell you this now before Ian gets back, but you've been able to do that with a Macintosh since about 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
All Macs can do that. I got a feeling even the iPhone can do it, and I'm 99% sure that I haven't got a new iPad, but I know the other iPads do, and all my other Macs, even the old one here, 2011, can make a hotspot. So
yeah, no, that's really good. They that feature never should have been removed. Because I used it a lot back when I would try and play LAN games on like Microsoft Flight Simulator or something. I would create an ad hoc network and then updating to Windows 10, and that feature was just completely gone.
Yeah.
So
Well, we won't tell Ian because it's free as well.
yeah, they're gonna charge you money to activate your hotspot. No, that's I just think it's nice that they have that still enabled in Linux or in because you can install it in any distribution, I think. But I don't know. I thought that was cool, and it was kind of tech related, so thought I would bring it up.
So anyway,
Other than that, not a whole lot been. Go ahead.
how is Huntsville?
I've been there once already. It's a little bit cold compared to here. Although anyone who hasn't lived in
Fort Myers right now. Okay.
yeah, I'm still in my main room here. Yeah, living in Florida means when you go somewhere else that isn't tropical, you freeze solid if it goes below 70.
Yeah, I know. I used
It's
to live-
terrible.
Yeah, I know what it's like.
And everybody else is like, oh yeah, this is a shorts and t-shirt day.
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
the other way
man.
around. When I lived in Atlanta 36 years, and I come down here and everybody's running around like a bunch of chickens with their head cut off, talking about how cold it is, and I'm like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Like they're talking about, oh, it's gonna get cold next week. Gonna go down to 49 degrees. What's a nice warm day in the wintertime in Atlanta?
I know. You try living in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
It's like the year that I left Pennsylvania and I came down here, I think we had something like 47 days. It was over 2 months. It was 47 days, I think it was, that we didn't go above zero.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a record, but And then, funnily enough, the year before, Christmas Day was 72 degrees. The winter before, it's just.
wow.
But yeah, it's bloody cold up there.
And you know what? The weird thing. Yeah.
Oh, we can
You know,
stop
the weird
talking
thing
about it now.
down
He's
here-
back.
Yeah, the weird thing about down here is the air is so moist all the time that the difference between the high temperature and the low temperature is never more than 30 degrees. Where when you're out in the desert, you can have a high of 120 and you can have a low of 50 because it's so dry. That coupled with all the water around us, plus the big lake and everything else, we don't ever get to 100. Pagefield has been to 100 degrees one time. It never happens. And the reason we never get to 100 degrees is the same reason why we only get down to 29 degrees once every 3 years. It hardly ever happens. We go whole years without ever breaking freezing, and it's because of that thick tropical air and the proximity to all this warm water around us.
Right.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing, but
Kind
but
of strange to me after living in Atlanta for a while, because it's pretty cold up there. But
yeah,
nothing-
Atlanta, they can get pretty dry up there, so it can really drop down at night.
Yeah.
And Atlanta is far enough north that you can get a really good snowstorm, but far enough south that they're not really prepared for it.
Tell me about it. I've been through this. I've never done that.
Yeah, we've sat up at my cabin before with 7 inches on the ground and watched continuous nonstop breaking news coverage out of Fox 5 Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know the feeling. In 2014, I left work about 1 in the afternoon, and my boss says, "You better get out of here." So I got in the car, and it took me 8 hours to get back to my apartment in Marietta. 8 hours. Just crazy. And it's only like 18 miles distant.
All right, Joseph, are you done with that segment there?
Yeah.
I'm
Dave
sorry,
was
I got home from work at like 57 and I hadn't even gone to the bathroom yet. So I thank you for giving me a few minutes.
Oh no,
there.
you're fine.
Yeah. TMI.
No,
That's
someone
one
in
of
the
my
chat.
No, I'll
About
give you
the
TMI
flop
if you want it.
That's my
Someone
big
in the
complaint
chat
about
was
this flop shop.
complaining.
There's not
that-
even a fire hydrant out there.
That's what I need. Is a little
somebody.
fire hydrant right outside of the shack. I can just go
I
lift
think
my
that's what
leg
we're
on.
gonna have to put up.
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Fire hydrant.
Well, actually, I told my wife. I said, I've considered putting a urinal in the shack. For contesting. I mean, come on. You cannot be a serious contester without a pisser in the shack.
I got to say one thing: Gatorade bottles. That's all that counts.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I could. Yeah.
There's also
And then-
the option of large potted plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you
no,
use a Gatorade bottle, rip the label off.
Yes.
Okay.
Write something on there.
It's a new flavor. All right. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way.
All right. Someone Dave sneezed earlier, and apparently someone's ears got hurt.
Oh, sorry. Well, I got it right
Oh,
over here.
come on. Sorry that we don't have
You
the
got the
best
chat
audio
off.
processing known to man. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. See, we
No,
have
it's
a
not
thing
his
on.
fault. It's not your fault. It's just that.
No, it's not. It's you know what? Here it is. On the radio, we have a thing that a real-time processing that actually normalizes all of our audio going out, and that's why every signal. When you look at, like when I record my show at work, all the levels are different. They're like this all the way down the waveform. But when you hear it on the air, it sounds perfect because we have this piece of equipment down at the tower site in a stereo that takes the set right before it goes up the tower or into the transmitter, I should say. It's completely normalized so that everything is hitting right at 80% right across. And that's why when you listen to the radio, everything's the same. Zoom actually does the same thing. They have noise canceling and normalization, but it's not as responsive and it doesn't work as well as what we're using at the radio station. All right. So anyway, project of the week. We've already done this one, but I just want to go over it real quick. I noticed last week we had 2 or 3 KO4s and KM4s and some younger hams in here that got licensed recently. And I just wanted to bring this up again, take about 5 or 10 minutes to see if I could just show you guys how easy it is to make your first antenna. The first antenna I ever made was a dipole antenna using 2 coat hangers and a piece of pipe. And that's all I had. And I made an antenna. I had no way to even tune it at the time. Hooked it up to a radio and it worked great. Started moving it up higher and higher as I was able to get pipes and stands and things. And I still have that antenna today. I got it wrapped up back here. I saved it. It's got a little SMA wire on it. And I made this thing and I put it up 20 feet at one time. And I ran it in here and I have it hooked to a Baofeng radio with a breast mic. And I used it as a base radio. And that little Baofeng at 5 watts, I could talk all the way to a stereo. Once I got this thing up about 25 feet, I could talk down to a stereo on it. So it works really well. It's something that can be made really easily. And there's so many different ways to make a dipole antenna. All you need to do is have something that holds your 2 elements properly and a way to connect your antenna wires to those elements. And they need to have separation. That's it. Very simple. Very, very simple. Here's a bunch of different ideas.
Hang on, Ian. If you go back to that picture, I'm pretty sure it'll work better if it's inverted.
Yes, that actually is upside down, isn't it?
I think so.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that off the internet. You can't believe nothing you hear on the internet. But yeah,
Sorry.
that actually shows the shield going up, which would be your
Ground.
your counterpoise. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your
choke bound would be an improvement, but that's fine.
Yeah, for 70 centimeters, almost necessary. But for 2 meter, I've never really needed them if you get your measurements right and everything. But a choke balun works. You just wrap some wire around there like this here. See that?
Yeah.
There you go. That's fine.
Just wrap your wire around there about 6 or 8 times. Check your SWR. These are electrical pieces. I don't know what they're called, but you can buy them right over where the power box stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one way to do it. Another way to do it is you can bend the end of it into a loop and just put the loop under the screw and then bring the wire and put it under the screw and you're all set to go. Here's one where they've enclosed it inside the tubing. There's one for 440 and one for 2 meter. I like this one up here. It's basically just a T, and it's basically what you see right here. That's the finished product. Here's one they've built into an attic. This looks like a multi-band. They might have 6 meters or something else on there because they've got a longer one. Here's one built out of plumbing parts using PVC and then using copper with a threaded copper piece on here that goes into the PVC because the threading's the same. And then they put a screw in the side that goes into the threading, and that's how you get your contact. That's an ingenious little plan there, too. You can make it with a tape measure. You can make it with a coat hanger. Here's one. It's literally nailed to a door and made out of a piece of wood. And there's your choke there, you know. And look, you can make this thing. This is 440 and 2 meter. It's called a fan dipole. And you can put them both on there. I just wanted to bring this up. If anybody has any questions, there's a lot of us in here that have built these. Ask us, because you can build these out of anything. You can literally take a piece of wire and connect one half to the middle part, to the middle conductor, and one half to the outer conductor of the wire, and just tape it to where they don't connect at all, and then hang it from a tree. You can use anything. I mean, literally, it can be an inch thick all the way down to a little thin piece of wire, whatever you have. Coat hanger works great. Welding rod. If you can find long welding rods, when you're in the hardware store and you're looking for different things to use for your elements on these, you can always go over and pick up a tape measure and then just put it back before you leave if you need a tape measure. But make sure if you're looking at welding rods or whatever, it should say right on the sticker how long it is. You need 19.5 inches minimum.
These are 36 inches. Harbor Freight has them.
Harbor Freight has them. Okay.
Yeah, that's what this is.
How long is it, Rich?
These are 36 inches.
Perfect.
So I'm going to use them to make a, one of these days I get to it, I'm going to make a disc cone out of them. So.
When you make a fan dipole, I wanted to show you guys this. You can make a fan dipole for any bands. Does it decrease your overall performance of a single band? It can, but I don't think it does significantly.
Yeah,
but you can see here all. Yeah, they do interact, and I will tell you, if you make a 2 meter and you put a 440 with it, there's a small amount of interaction there, but it does work pretty good.
If you fan them in opposite, if you fan them in, so if you're making a fan dipole, you make them from the center point, you make the ends lower, but you also separate them a little bit. So if you look on the top of it, it's kind of like a cheesecake that's cut. And then if you look from the side, it's kind of dropping, and that takes away the effect.
Oh, I see. So you not only bend them to where there's separation from the other element, but you also turn them slightly on a different angle.
If you search, there is fan dipole MIT. MIT did some research for the government, and they came out with I don't know if I'll find it and send it to you, but with the government, that they did some tests and they came out with these. It's only 5 inches. 5 inches is enough. Put MIT at the beginning, MIT fan dipole.
It's 5 inches. What do you mean? 5 inches?
5 inches at the ends. So if you've got a 10 meter one and an 80 meter one as your fan, the end of the 10 meter one, just drop it down 5 inches more than you did at the original, but also 5 inches away, either like rotating it, if you like. 5 inches was proved to be enough. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was enough.
That's a Yagi, but that shows you a 2 meter and a 70 centimeter together. can't believe I can't find any decent pictures of what we're talking about here.
The trouble is, it's 3-dimensional, and all these pictures are 2-dimensional.
Yeah. It's showing me everything too. It's like what I need really here is Google or government, whichever. Let's see here. So the reason I bring this up mostly is because this is something that every single person here in the net tonight can make tomorrow. You can make this tomorrow. Now you might be busy contesting, but you can make this tomorrow. It's really, really simple to make. I cannot believe that I cannot find pictures of one of these fan dipoles. Freaking. I mean, you guys see what it is. I mean, it's basically,
Yeah.
you guys know what a fan dipole is.
Oh,
All you're doing is, and now let me give you guys the trick here, because there's always a trick, right? Here's the trick. See this fan dipole right here? You take your welding rod or your piece of coat hanger or whatever it is you're using, and you don't cut it. What you do is you measure the long one so that it's a little longer than it needs to be. Then you bend it around the screw, and the other side becomes the short side.
awesome.
So this is all one piece of metal right here.
Oh, okay. That's
You see what I mean?
Yep.
So that's one welding rod. That's the other welding rod, and they're still connected. And you just put a washer on there, put a horseshoe on the end of your connector from your antenna wire, put horseshoe underneath there, put your antenna underneath there, and screw it down, and you're done. That's it. There's no fancy nothing. And if you put a choke on here, it will help.
Choke balance, yeah.
Choke balance, yeah. It will help just to have a few rolls here that will help you clean things up. So any questions on that? All right. So if you're not contesting over the weekend, you got to make one of these using equipment and stuff that you have around the house. I swear to you, everybody, even if you're not an industrious person, there's 2 screws, folks. It's a piece of wood and 2 screws and 2 coat hangers and an old piece of wire that you can cut off of an old antenna. You just go out there and that old antenna that don't work really anymore, just cut it right by the antenna. Cut that out, get your 2 leads, put horseshoe connectors on them. Boom, you're in business right there with a piece of wood and 2 coat hangers. And you'd be surprised, you stick this thing right outside your window, right above your house, and now your Bofang's a base radio. And you can buy, here's another trick. Buy a 25-foot or whatever length you want SMA extension cable, right? You buy the SMA extension cable from Amazon. They're only like $8 or something for a 25-foot extension cable for SMA. $12, whatever it is, right? It's got a male on one end or a female on the other, or female on both ends, male on both ends, however you buy it. Okay? Buy it based on what your radios take. If you've got a Baofeng, you want it to be a male so that you can screw it on the top of your Baofeng. If you got a TYT, you want it to be a female, so it'll screw on there. So buy that 25-foot length of cable and cut it in the middle. And now you got 2 12-foot cables to run to 2 Baofengs and run them outside and put them on 2 different antennas on the corners of your shed. And now you've got 2 base radios. This is so simple to do, and it doesn't cost anything. All right. Any questions on that? Anybody, anywhere? I know we got a few newer guys in here, KO4s, KM4s, and I'm here to help, guys. I'm a new guy myself, okay? And I build this stuff in my sleep now. I love it. All right. Let's see. Next up. Anybody have anything else on that? Last call.
Yeah, I got my hex beam coming in next week.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah,
Which one did you get?
it's the K4KIO. It's the one.
Very
with-
nice.
Yeah, that's the 20 through 10. I didn't put 6 on it because 6 supposedly interacts with the 12 meter. So I wanted to be strictly HF, and I've got a HF beam here. So anyway, you get an idea.
Here's what we're talking about, guys. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It basically looks like an umbrella that got into a windstorm.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
I want one of these so bad. They are directional.
Yes, they are.
They're highly directional, and they're very exclusive in the back.
It's interesting how you fit his cable. On the
Which
right.
one?
The one on the right. See how you
This
coil
one?
the cable? Yeah, might have to try that.
Interesting.
And you can see how that's basically like you were describing a fan dipole.
Yeah.
The center post is your top one is 20 meters and then 17 and so on.
And you know, your old lady can hang the laundry on it if she needs to as well.
If she can get up there.
It's a washing room.
And if it needs to get done quicker, then you just rotate it back and forth.
Yeah, and hope that the birds don't fly over.
Oh man, I really want one of these. Probably my dream antenna right now. But my thing is, I want it for 40, but it's going to be like 50 feet wide.
Yeah, that's very unwieldy.
I know it's way too big. I get it.
I think what I want for 40 is to build of course, I've got my in-fed halfway for 40, which works pretty good. But I thought about building a delta loop for the 40 and 20 meter band. And I want to work that contest next weekend. So I may build a 20 meter delta loop and face it toward Europe to see what happens.
There you go. All right, now speaking of, let's get in the contests for this weekend. We've got all kinds of contests going on this weekend. There's two big ones. There's some smaller ones, but there's two big ones. I'm only going to go through the two big ones. You've got the Awrl EME, which is Earth, Moon, Earth. For those of you guys who haven't done that yet, it's pretty cool because it's actually the entire contest is signals that are bounced off the moon. There is frequencies. You got to go look them up. But the neat thing about this is let's say you can't talk to the moon because you don't have a rig that looks like that picture right there. You may have a Yagi or something you've built that will get on one of these frequencies, and you can still point it at the moon and hear them. So, you know, you might want to play around with it, especially if you're not doing the big one here, which is the Awrl Sweepstakes contest. It's a single sideband this week. It was CW last time. This is a big one. I did this one last year. I still have the results, I think, on my QRZ page. I got a lot of states. I had a good time with it. I got some Canadian provinces, and it was all phone, which, as you guys know, anytime I can do phone, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I never get to talk to anybody on my voice radio with this really cool desk mic that I don't think I put my voice through in 6 months. So I'm doing this tomorrow. I'm going to come out here and early and get it all set up. So what I would like to do is I'm going to set up my MQ1, MMQ1, MQ1, MMNQM. I forget what it's called. But I'm going to set it up here, and so you guys can see how easy it is to set up for a contest. And I got Rick in here to make sure I'm doing it right. It's MM plus LGBT.
You got the logging program?
Yeah. N1MM. I found it.
M1MN. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, I found it. I want to show you guys this program. You download this program, and it's basically here. I'm going to put it over here for you so you can see it. This is it right here. And this is basically a program designed mostly for contesting. I'm going to have to download the new version. Damn it. I don't want to do that right now. But anyway, you're going to set this for contest mode. And the way you do that, help me out, Rick, is it...
okay. You're going to do Well,
It's
you want to set it up for a log for a particular contest.
right.
You're going to go over the file, new log and database, blah, blah. Well, you might want to set up a new database.
Okay. So I'm going to name it something. So what I'm going to call this is I'm going to call this Sweeps
Yeah, that's fine.
2021. Okay. I've created my database.
Now go in and create a new log in that.
Okay. So new log.
All right, why didn't they
So
come
now
up?
I've created a new log in Sweeps. And
No,
that's
you
come
haven't
up.
yet, because you've got to tell it. There you go. You're going to have to go in and make sure that you're in the, okay, new log for general logging. All right, you want to go down to, you're going to find the contest. Now, I don't know how this one's listed.
It's probably under ARRL.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Some
It's
of them-
SSB, yeah.
Yeah, some of them are listed down there, further down. It might be listed as sweepstake ARRL or something too. It's not consistent. Yeah, I know.
It's free, isn't it?
Yes.
yeah. That's why you can't complain.
I
I don't see it.
don't see it there. All right. The name of the contest is what again?
It's the ARRL Sweepstakes Contest, SSB.
Rats.
I know it's in here because I set it up last year.
I know. I set one up a few weeks ago for rats.
Boy, you would think this would
It's
be
called
a
the
bit
AARL Sweepstake Contest SSB.
Yeah.
You may have to have a user to. I can't think for ARRL anything you would need a user defined contest.
No. No, this one's in here. You just said it. I just don't know where it is.
It's missing.
I thought it might be under SSB, but it's not.
No, SSB is the last word. It's AARL Sweepstakes Contest, comma, SSB.
No, it's definitely not here under that. There's ARRL SCR, whatever that is. That's school roundup. That's something different.
Yeah. Rats.
Okay, well, and so, okay, we're not stuck, guys. Here's what you do, okay? You go to your browser and you type what to set MM1N, what is it? Shit.
NM1M. Otherwise, you'll confuse it.
NN1M1.
No,
and
it's-
N1M for ARRL Sweepstakes SSB.
Oh, try November.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Not September, but November.
No, failed again.
What the hell?
What are you doing with it? Right there. That's CW. What? It
What,
doesn't make
why?
sense.
Whoa! You would? Why would you do that?
That's what I don't understand. Select log type CW. Why? It's supposed to be an SSB kind. That's got to be a misprint.
Oh,
No,
maybe
no,
it's here.
the SSB one is
Oh,
there.
it's SSSSSSSB.
Wow, where does that come from?
I don't know. Well, because there's no way you would ever find that, so that's why they used it.
Yeah, yeah. Software engineers, you got to love them.
Yeah, so let's set it
Sometimes-
to.
There it is.
You guys should have known it was SSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSS
S stick.
It's 4 S's.
Yeah.
Now, once you set this, it normally sets pretty much everything. Notice the date
Yeah.
set for me.
To make sure, what are you going to be using for power? You want to change that to low. See, just power.
Yeah, I want
I
low
don't
because
know why it
I'm
defaults to high. That drives me crazy. But
most of you will be low. I'm going to tell you, DX or QRP is usually 10 watts or less.
yeah,
And low is up to 100 watts or barefoot.
yeah,
And then anything above that is high. And you want to make sure you don't select high unless you really intend on just boiling it out all day, because
yeah.
you can do everything you need to do at 100 watts and compete with everybody else.
But if you make one contact at 500 watts, your whole thing is assumed to be at 500
Yep.
watts.
Yep.
All right, so I don't think we need anything else here.
Assisted,
I'm a-
probably
I'm a
non-assisted, unless you're going to use spotting.
I'm non-assisted. Transmitter 1, category.
You got to have 30 minutes off.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
If you do 24 hours, you've got to have at least 30 minutes off. So you got a hole in your
They wouldn't want you
time.
to get,
Yeah,
Yeah,
get clogged up or something.
I'll figure out what I'm going to set that for.
you work too long. I guess they think you'll start talking into CB talk or something.
Well,
Man,
you know, if people want to stay up 24 hours and work, this is a free country. Last I checked.
Yeah, last time I looked. Although I don't want to go into
We're
that.
definitely. Let's not get into that, but we're working our way.
I don't want to go into
Well,
that. We have enough of that.
We're
whole-
we'll still consider it free. Anyway, Cent Exchange is A98 South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida is your ARRL district, and I don't know what the A95 is.
A is
I
single
thought-
user, single
Oh.
operator, and
Oh,
No.
98 is the year. Year. Mine's going to be 00.
Okay.
Mine,
That's
mine
the
is.
year you got licensed. Okay, that's like that other contest. That one drove me crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
I'm Alpha 22 South Florida. So now when I talk to people, when I go A00 Alpha 00 South Florida, and then when I go to talk to somebody, what
So
I'm
you
going to
were
listen.
licensed in the year 2000? I thought you were
Yes.
licensed just
No, 2020. I put 00 20.
but
My
20.
God, yeah, it's
I
20.
thought you were
Thank you.
licensed.
Yeah, well, it's been a long day. Alpha 20 South Florida. That sounds more right. So that's my exchange. So
Yeah.
what I would do is I'd hear somebody out there going QSL, and then you wait till they're waiting for people, and everybody jumps in there. You jump in there. You try to get your call sign recognized. When they recognize you, they'll come back and they'll go Echo Foxtrot Sierra unit, and I'll repeat my call sign again without all the other people walking over me, and he should be able to hear me the second time.
Yeah, that's
And so you give a call sign again. He'll come back. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra. I'm 19 South Florida, Alpha 19 South Florida, and I'll go QSL. I am Alpha 20 South Florida, and he'll go QSL. Have a good one, 7-3, and that's it. That's the whole contact right there.
Yeah, you'll send it. You'll be sending a serial number, and they'll be sending you a serial number.
Right.
I'm gonna really make you mad. When I did this a few weeks ago on CW, it did all the work.
yeah, will it talk to your rig?
No, I don't know if it talks, but
I thought it does connect to your rig.
I don't know if it does or not. I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it's got. I've never used it. I always use the other one. I can never remember the name of that one either.
Is it N3 NFP or something like that?
Yeah,
Three-
N3 FTP.
Yeah. Which is also a good piece of software, but you have to pay for it.
N3FJP.
FJP, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that what it said? Probably not. That's what I use. But oh yeah, it talks to your rig.
Yes, it does.
That takes a lot of hard work out.
I've
Yeah,
got
now I don't have my FT100 hooked up, nor am I using rig control with my ICOM, so I'm not going to use it. But it does have it here. But I'm going to go ahead and set it for none because I don't want that messing me up in the morning. What I do is every contact I have to log the frequency.
Yeah, I've just looked it up. The SSSSB does make sense if you know that it makes sense, because it's S for sweep, S for stakes, and then a single sideband. So that's what the 4 S's and the B stand for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Software engineers, you just got to love them, you know?
It's just so simply complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
unbelievable.
As we say at work, it's moronically amazing. Anyway, so you're in your contest now. What you're going to do is you're going to put the call sign, like when you hear a guy, you'll hear a guy. Yeah, QRZ. And a lot of times they won't say their call letter every time, and I hate that. They're supposed to, but they don't.
Yeah, I hate that.
And so they'll finally say their call sign. This is N1, N1. Okay, N1, NN. So what you do is you type N1, NN, and it will let you know right away if you've got that one already.
Yeah,
You only want each station one time per band.
yeah. Otherwise, it'll
Okay,
come
and
up
then
to-
once you get his call sign in there, you hit tab, and now you put in whatever it is. This is going to be your
you may be able to use a space bar there too.
okay, and then here is where you're going to put in your exchange. So let's say he's A11 South Florida. You would put that in right there, I think. Invalid serial number. I got to figure this out. That's what I sit here and do tomorrow morning. Try to figure this out. I haven't
Yeah.
used this thing. I haven't used this thing in 6 months.
Now, when I used it for the CW contest, there was some stuff above that. It didn't look like this has got as many fields for some reason.
Now, there's only 3 things you need, but I don't see where that goes in here. You know what? I know why it's not working. We're not within the contest hours.
Well,
Change your clock.
Yeah.
What's the multipliers? Are there any multipliers?
Yes, there is. Here, I'll go back to that. The multipliers are each ARRL section once.
Oh, okay. What was that, once per band or once?
I don't know. It's just what it says there. I don't know.
160, 80, 40, 20.
It says workstations once only.
Now, I don't know if that means once per band or just once only.
I don't know. I thought it was once per band, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's a bummer.
No, wait a minute.
There will be more detail on the ARRL website.
Yeah, you definitely got to go check
Ah,
that
there's
out.
less. I got that. I'm looking at it. There's less. It doesn't say anything about multipliers. It just sends you off to another page, which is like gobbledygook.
Oh God, guys, I hate to bring up bad news, but I'm starting to get scanner alerts from Chicago and Kenosha. Here we go.
Here we
Burn
go.
the place down. Oh, jeez.
I'd hate to own a Target store in Kenosha tonight.
Yeah.
Donald's.
Okay.
Got
Can we take a couple minute break? I got to get this. Let's take about 3 or 4 minutes, guys. All right. I'll leave it on so you guys can talk. I'll be right back.
I will be right back.
Yeah, the ARL contest website makes absolutely no sense. When you go to multipliers, you get, RRL sections, and then it just gives you different call areas. It doesn't tell you if it's actually a multiplier. Or if you're using call areas rather than the actual areas.
And third line up from the bottom seems pretty explanatory. The multipliers were section. But if you work 10 stations in a section, you can only count that section once as a multiplier, not 10 times.
Right. Yeah, so if you get 5 sections, then everything is times 5. All the regular points you
QSL.
get would be times 5. Yeah. 2 points per QSO. Yeah. Yeah, see total QSO points. So let's say you make 100 contacts, that's 200 points. And if you did it in 5 zones, that'd be 200 times 5, so it'd be 1,000 points. That's what your final score would be. And the neat thing about N1MMNMN is it will actually keep your score. It'll put up a bunch of little windows, and you can turn on more windows. And one of them is a little score calculator, and it will keep calculating your score as you go. It's pretty cool. All right. Any more questions on the ARRL contesting? If you run into problems, get with either Rick or myself, because we've both done it before, although it doesn't seem like I know what I'm doing right now. We'll get it all figured out. Okay. Anyway, I hope that you guys will try some of the ARRL sweepstakes. Like I said, not because it's ARRL, but because there's a lot of people that do this. It's a great way. It's a great way to find a lot of other people out there, and so that's kind of that's why I make a big deal about it, because it's a way for you to find other people on HF to talk to. Okay, anything else on contesting? All right, website of the week. You guys already know this one, but I haven't done this one in the newsletter yet. So it's Psk Reporter. This is my favorite website of all times. I've got it on the Southwest Florida TechNet website under propagation. You can find it there. You can also just go to their website directly and get it there. I use this every single day. A lot of times I have several Linux machines over here that I'm not using. I'll just leave them up on this screen, and I'll set them for different bands. You can also set it for everything that you've done, that you've received in the last so many hours or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and go to that real quick. And it's pskreporter.info. I know most of you guys have already used it, so I'm not going to bore you very long, but I want to show you a couple of features on here. Some things that you might want to do. Under display options, you want to turn on show connecting lines always right there. Turn that on. Also, you might want to reset a few of these things down here as well. But for right now, that's the main thing. Show connecting lines always. And then when you're done, X out. Then you want to go up here. One of the things you can do is you can put in your own call sign, and I can go back for 12 hours and see all the stations that my radio has received today. I think this is something really cool to kind of see where you're at, how things are going. This was my progress today. These are all the stations that my radio was able to receive from. And that's pretty cool. It even shows a circle here that shows you where most of your traffic's coming and going from, where your jump is going. All right. But you can see on 40 or on 20, I had a lot of Europe on 20. This tan color, that was 15. You can see up here, 15 is the tan color. 20 is the gold color. I use those quite a bit. But if I add this up to 24 hours, you'll see that I had also this morning, I did some 40 and 80 also. I did a lot of 80 this morning. I like doing 80 in the middle of the night. I find 80 to be fun in the middle of the night because even though it's kind of a short, hot band, you can still get out 1,000 miles in the middle of the night with it.
Oh, yeah. Pretty good.
And I have a lot of fun with it. I really like it. This map doesn't seem to want to move very much. But yeah, see, so that shows you all the contacts my radio was able to hear and how many hours ago it heard it. This is a great thing. So you can kind of see how you're doing. You can also set it for single band. You can also set it for like the last hour. Now mine is currently set on 20 meters, but I'm not getting anything on 20 right now. Really not getting much of anything on 20 right now. You can also change this to anyone. This is what I'd use for general propagation. Okay, take your call sign out, set it to anyone, all modes, all bands, click go, 1 hour. This shows you what's going on in the world right now. Look at this. Your pink is 80, your blue is 40, and your green is 30. Now, is that not helpful?
Yeah. Well,
that's freaking amazing to me. I can see what's working. Now, if I zoom out further, look, I can check the day bands out going on over on the other side of the big pond. You can see over here we've got some this burnt color here is I think 12 meters, and you've got some other ones here, 15, 20. So some other stuff going on over there. But we're over here where we're at. It's we're getting into the night bands now. Man, I wish this wouldn't hang up so damn bad. I just think this is amazing. You can go right in and see what all the radio traffic looks like. Now, judging from that picture right there, 40's the band right now. So, yeah, not surprised. 40's like the all-around band. But I'm going to tell you a problem with 40. It gets too busy on FT8 a lot of times. And you can't find a parking space. It's like going to a busy supermarket. You drive around for 20 minutes.
I-285 at 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, there you go. So what I do is I'll use this to try to figure out, okay, if 40's too busy, where else can I go and have some fun? And like I look at this, I could go to 30. I do pretty good on 30. 30's running. So, and it looks like there's a lot of 80 north of me, and I do pretty good north of me, so I could go to 80 too. So this tells me pretty much exactly what I'm doing. If I have a Yagi or a Hex or something that's directional, this becomes real handy. I use this during Magic Band season when I'm using my 5-element 6-meter antenna because I can aim this. I use these lines. If I'm wanting to hit this point here, I will aim it along that line. And that puts me in. It gives me the azimuth. Also, if you're using Grid Tracker will give you the azimuth based on their address that's in QRZ. That's another nice thing. If you've got Grid Tracker hooked up to QRZ, you'll automatically get the azimuth to their house. But anyway, I find this to be a wonderful website. Any questions on this? It is neat. I love it. All right, so that's the website of the week. All right, and finally, I just want to run through the radio nets. You guys know we've got the connected repeater system going. The other club's been working on it for a while, and they've got it working pretty good. There was some volume issues and stuff. I think they got all that worked out, and we're down to training now. it seems to be working pretty good. It's a matter of training people to key up and wait 1001, 1000 through, and then say your call sign. We're used to 1 second on the repeaters. You really need like 2 seconds because now we've got digital services, VoIP stuff hooked up as well. So you have to give that time for everything to click in. Go ahead.
Latency.
Latency. Thank you. Yeah, there's a little more latency than we would like, but it's not a lot, really. Under 2 seconds. It's not bad at all, really. No. I think it's working great. The guys did a good job on it. The daily nets, there is a lot of nets, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I just want to highlight a few nets for you guys if you haven't been hitting nets. The loggerhead net on Sanibel is a great net to test your antenna because not an easy repeater to hit from up here in Fort Myers. So build you a Yagi this weekend. You can test it out on Sunday on the loggerhead net. By aiming it towards Sanibel. Get up on your roof and make your wife mad and aim that thing towards Sanibel. The logger and then the windmill net, if you've got 28 megahertz, you can get on the windmill net. That's a tech frequency. And then there's some other ones here. The newbie net, 8 o'clock-ish. It usually starts around 7:45 whenever the big club net is over. And then this one I wanted to mention, the 6-meter propagation net. Try to get to those guys. They're up in Charlotte County, or I'm sorry, Collier County. This is a Collier County net run by the Amateur Radio Association in Southwest Florida. So those of you up here in Lee County, if you're wanting to play with 6 meters and you got a beam or whatever, this would be a cool one. These guys are cool down there. I've been working with a couple of guys down there doing some stuff, and they're really great down there. This is their club net. Their club net down there is 45 minutes after this net starts. And then we got Inglewood, and we got the 2-meter chat net up in Inglewood as well. All this stuff starts at 7 o'clock. Venice Tamiami Network. That's up in Venice. That's a little further north. If you're down in Fort Myers, you may or may not get that one. I can get that with my dual Yagis. And then Collier County has an Aries net on Tuesday night. And then you can also get on the NOAA Skywarn if you can get into Verna. Into the NI4CE. So there's a lot of cool nets out here. This is a great one. Been a lot of people on this one lately. The $1.25 net. Listen, you can get onto this on All-Star. You can get onto this on Echolink. You can listen to it on Broadcastify. You can talk on it on 3 different VHF repeaters and one 1.25 meter, hence the name repeater. So this is a great net, and because of all that flexibility, we've had like 20 plus check-ins on this net and some of the recent nets. So this is a great net. I think is it Charles and I think John. Yeah. Charles and John do this one, I think. So yeah, great net. And then so going on down, this Yazoo. If you got Yazoo, I'm going to say it all the different ways for you guys, because I know you love that. But the Fusion Net, this is great. Bill Warren has a joke of the night. It's a great conversation. It's some of the higher end digital stuff conversations. It's really good stuff. And then we go down. There's a few more here. The Cars 6-meter net. This is the one in Charlotte County. So we've got a Charlotte County 6-meter net, a Collier County 6-meter net, and a Lee County 10-meter net. All open to everybody with any class license.
Oh, that's cool.
I just want to put that out there. So there's lots of cool stuff. If you're really working with 6-meter and 10-meter antennas and stuff, there is stuff to do even out of Magic Band season. Okay, let's see here.
Same frequency too, aren't they?
Yeah, 50.2, and I think it is. It's 50. No, theirs is 020.
020, and the other
Yeah.
one is 50.2.
200. Yeah.
That's going to be confusing.
And this one's only the first and third Thursdays, the one in Charlotte.
But
that's run by the Cars group up there, which is a great group.
Yeah, our 6-meter net is FM, so it's 52.020, and it's FM, and it's actually vertically polarized, but everybody's on horizontal polarization. So you know, there's a couple of people with vertical, but we can figure it out. It's actually a good fun net.
Yeah, the Charlotte net was working with. They were trying some vertical versus horizontal polarization with their net too, so that's really cool. Yeah, you're right. It's 52.030. That's
Yeah.
up in the FM band,
FM part
Yeah.
of it.
the FM band of the band, part of the band. But yeah, that one's in Collier. The other one I mentioned is in Charlotte, and then of course we got the windmill net here in Lee. But if you're working with distance on these weird bands, there's you go. There you go. I'm gonna tell you guys something. When I first started, I thought 6, 10, and 12 were a waste. I was pissed it was even in my radio. I'm like, these bands are crap. But you know what? Once you get the right antenna, the right time of year, the right conditions, the right part of the day, they're fun.
Then they turn into something.
Yeah. Magic Band season on 6 meters is a blast.
Well, we're coming up to a mini managed band now, Magic Band. You know, in
Right
December.
after Christmas. Right after Christmas.
Well, middle of December if we're lucky sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually worked a few stations the other night because I keep DX maps on 6 meters all the time. And the other night I worked up, New York, Michigan, whatever, just I think 5 or 6 stations on SSB as well, so not FT8.
That's pretty.
There's our 6 meter propagation right now. So we have a little north south going on down in South America, but really not much. Not, when I look at this, it's not really running great tonight. But then again, 6 is more of a day band. Oh, look at this. It's going all right over in Japan, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes this isn't so much propagation as it is people who are on.
Yeah, ground wave.
Man,
But it's not going anywhere away from Japan.
No, it's not. They're keeping to themselves right now.
yeah. That was Australia.
Yeah. So then we can switch up. Let's take a look at 10. 10's a day band for sure. You can see 10. 10, I notice, runs really good north and south. There's about 2 in the afternoon. It's booming into Brazil from us, from here.
Don't they call that the equatorial something or other?
Yeah, yes, I've heard that. That's
It's
it's the same thing when you get the gray line advantage. You also get an equatorial advantage as well. Yeah. And yeah, there is definitely some there. But yeah, look at that. I mean, that's obviously a day band. Now, during Magic Band season, it could be at night as well. But mostly Magic Band is during the day too. And then we can see what we got on 12 meters. Remember, this goes by digital. This is mostly not phone. This is mostly digital because it's all reported automatically. All right, so here we go. 12's really a day band. You can see that it's really not used much at all at night. Really not much going on. And the ones using it at night they're running that gray line, trying to get out of there. But that's kind of cool too.
That is pretty cool. Peru over to Japan.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see, a 15. 15's about the same pattern. 15 again is not worth the crap at night. And 17. Oh, we're starting to get to something that's working a little bit at night.
That's a good band.
Yeah, we've got a few folks over on the left coast talking. Let's see here. 20 meters, as I call it, the universal band. I think everybody makes their first contact on 20. But there's 20. And again, mostly a day band. And now let's get into 30. 30, we're going to start seeing it move over towards us now. Look at that.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Look at that. Nothing moving in Australia on 30. I wonder if they're licensed for 30 because that's kind of weird. Not every country has every band. Europe has 4 meters.
Yeah.
That's good band as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, great band.
Wow.
So, and we're not allowed to use it here. And I don't believe even if you go to Europe, we're not allowed to use it with our license.
No.
So that sucks. All right. So there you go. That 30's rocking and rolling. Here's 40. We'll check that real quick, and then we're going to move on. There you go. 40 night band. Look at that. It's almost all night band stuff. Great little pattern there. And then let's just jump up to 80, see what's going on. 80 again, short band. But look at that, man. Going in and out of Europe right now, pretty good. So I love 80 at night, man. I've been hanging out a lot on 80 in the middle of the night. I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, up on 80, checking the clips, coming back in, working 80. I love 80. And what's weird is my wire doesn't like some frequencies and likes other. It loves 80. It loves 80. I can get the thing to where if I'm putting out 70 watts, I get about 65 watts on my output gauge, and on my reflective, I got absolutely nothing. It's zero. It's tuned perfectly, and the radio on the has like 10 lights for SWR. It's all the way down to the first one, so it's perfect SWR. So that works out really cool. And the one band I can't do anything with is 160. And there is people up there using it right now. I mean, there's people on it. I can hear them, but the problem is I cannot get my reflected power down under like 25 or 30, and it's just way too much reflected power for me to go start doing digital stuff with. It'll mess my radio up. So, all right, anything on that? All right, back to this. We got this. I think we're pretty much done here. There we go. Yeah, it was pretty good. Oh, the one I wanted to mention, the Cape Coral Gab Fest. This is another one of my favorite nets. It's run by Charles KI4GED and John AA4JS, I believe. Both take turns on this one, and it's simplex. And these guys have great big antennas, and you can hear them in Charlotte County. You can hear them in the north part of Collier, even if you got a good system. So it's a great net because it's simplex, and we all tell everybody where we're at and how we read everybody. When we go around the second time, we tell them how we're reading everybody. It's really a cool net. All right.
May I comment on that for just a moment?
Oh, yeah, there's one of the net controllers right there. Go ahead.
Last night it was great. 2-meter propagation was really hot last night. And so everybody on the net, from Lon and Steve up in Port Charlotte to Tony out in Lehigh, the guys in Cape Coral, one guy was only running, I think he was in the Cape and only running 10 watts. And everybody could hear each other. And it was really cool. That's unusual. But, it reminds you of the power of simplex. People, feel like they've got to have a repeater on 2-meter, and 2-meter simplex, don't count it out, let me tell you. And the other thing I wanted to say about the propagation last night, I was able to check into 2 different nets yesterday evening on a repeater in Lakeland. One was a fusion net, the other was an analog net. But that repeater is probably 90 miles from here. It's 146,685, the same as our repeater up 131. And I was hearing them, so I figured, what the heck, I'll change my PL and try to check in, and I sure did. Anyway, that's my comments for all that.
John, is that the one in Brandon, I think it is, or Lakeland?
It's in Lakeland. It's I think it's at like 400 feet in Lakeland.
I checked in on that one day. I did the same thing. I turned my Yagis up there, looked up the PL tone, stuck it in, and checked it at the end of their net. Yeah, I only did it once. It was running really clear that day.
Yeah.
It was
I
really
did it
good.
on my omnidirectional.
Wow. No, I was on my beans. So that's pretty good. All right, let's see. Why is this not working? Oh, crap. Oh, I know what's wrong. I'm in the wrong browser. I got to be in the right browser, Yeah. I got to be in the right browser, don't you know? Let's see here. I'll tell you what, I've been using, I've told you guys I use TeamViewer, and they've started shutting me down because I'm using it so much, and I sent them a letter and I'm like, look, I'm non-commercial. I meet all of your non-commercial standards. I'm non-commercial. I don't charge for anything. I have no paid services. I don't even charge my members dues. Okay. There's nothing profit here. And I never got a response. So I found Chrome Remote Desktop. And I got to tell you guys, I like it better. It actually works really well. Um, Here's what it looks like when you first dial in. Shows you all the screens at once. It's pretty cool. And then you have like a side screen that comes out, and you can have all your different choices for how you want to do it here. You can go full screen. You can resize, but you can also go down here. You can send Control Alt Delete. You can send print screen to the other computer. You can do the key mapping. There's a lot of things you can do here, but here you can choose which display you want to look at. So now we can look at, here's my FT8 screen on my other computer. And I just switched it over to 80 meters. I have not tuned yet. I can't tune till we get off of here. But I'm going to tune this up. But you can see I'm getting a lot of traffic on here that I haven't got yet. And so that's pretty cool. And I like this. Huh?
Is that cross-platform?
What?
Is it the you said it was
mean,
Chrome Remote Desktop? Is that cross-platform, i.e., or do Mac and PC?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't mean to sound ignorant, but I know nothing about Mac, and that's kind of on purpose.
Yeah,
I've always looked at Mac as a far superior piece of equipment that I can't afford, and so I'm just not going to touch it. But I'll admit right off the bat, it's probably better than anything I own. But I got bang for the buck issues here.
You know what ultimately happens to Apple machines? They wind up running Linux.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know what's happening to all my Windows machines? They're finally running Linux. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that on 80. I mean, if you guys aren't trying to get on 80, there's a lot on 80 at night. I'm going to clean this mess up right after if I'm up to it. I don't know, but I could clean this mess up in a hurry. I got to tune, and that takes me a few minutes to tune. All I do is I turn my wattage way down. I click the tune button. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot one very important step. Let's see here. Why is it?
Plug in the antenna.
No, not that important. Oh, there's the problem. Okay, let me get rid of this out of the way. And no, it's not that, John. It's the fact that I didn't have my cursor in a clear spot, and I didn't want to walk on somebody. So I wanted to get my transmit location out in the clear, and then we'll tune, and I'll see. I know right about where this one needs to be. Good old rotor tuner, man. All right, let's do this. While I'm working on this and playing around with this to show you guys, is there anybody that has anything they're working on right now that you might be able to benefit from some help on? We've got a lot of experienced people in here. We got Rick and John in 19 days. So there's got to be something we can help you with. So why don't you guys, anybody come now if you got something you want to talk about?
Well, I've got something I want to talk about, but it's going to need a fanfare first.
Oh, God, I don't have a button bar.
Do. And now, Dave.
Anybody bring their kazoo?
Well, not only did I work one contact in Wyoming, I worked 3. And I got them all confirmed. So I've now got WAS multiband from a bit of wire in the attic and 100 watts. So I'm quite pleased with that. But
W worked all Wyoming.
yeah, I probably have. I probably worked all of them, all 3. So that's one good one. But then the second one is I've also got DXCC this week. I worked my 100th state. I got confirmation of 100 stations from, again, 100 watts and a bit of wire in the attic. And that is 92 contacts on SSB and 8 contacts on FT8 from a bit of wire in the attic. And as I say, 100 watts. So
That's what's nice about FT8 is you don't have to have an optimized system in order to get some results.
yeah. But better your antenna. My last call was actually Miramar, not Miramar. Oh, God, let me find it. Used to be Burma, whatever Burma's called now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my.
I know what you're talking about now. It's over there next to Indonesia and Vietnam and Laos and all that.
Yeah, it's more to the left of that, isn't it? But yeah, I'm just going to dig his call sign up. That was my. That was actually my 124th country, but he confirmed straight away, which was really cool.
Well, there you go. I just got my first one right there. I'm at 60 watts and on 80 meters, and I just got my first one there. Where was that one at? I didn't even see. Let's see here. That one was Jacksonville, Florida. There's a jump.
Well, that's DX. That's really
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, I mean, with 80, you never know. 880 can run really close to the ground, and 80 also can still do some jumping around too.
I tried to do some 80 voice last night and it just totally sucked.
Well, I got a noise floor on 80, so I have to deal with it. You can see by my waterfall here, it's not clear. I mean, I've got a lot of noise floor. These lines, the signals should be clearer, and there shouldn't be as much artifact between them. But like I said, it's just the amount of
I
background I
wonder if
have.
it'll go down this coming week when it gets colder.
It may. I love how a lot of times the cold, crisp weather will help.
We get our blizzard next week, then we'll see what happens.
I've noticed it where I go to bed, I tune the thing, I got it tuned perfectly. I wake up in the morning, the tuning's different because there's dew on the grass. I'll literally wake up and retune the antenna to get the SWR back down to 1 again. I'm kind of an SWR nerd. I've been told that I'm way too sensitive about SWR. Although my radios have never complained.
Yeah. If you're under 3-to-1, call CQ.
Yeah, and I'm kind of weird. I try 2-to-1 is kind of my limit. I really don't like doing anything over 2-to-1. But I know that's too anal. But like especially like a fixed installation, like if I'm putting up a Yagi that I'm going to leave up for 2 years and I'm going to hook it up to one radio and that's all it's going to do, to me that's so important to have perfect. Because that radio is going to be talking on that thing a lot, you know, and I don't want to wear it out. See if we can get this one. No, I went too late on that cycle. Let me find a new parking spot. So they crowd me in my parking spot, man. Get out my damn parking spot. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get him this time. All right. So nobody has anything they want to bring up tonight that they want to talk about?
Well, I got one more thing.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone was on last Saturday, but last Saturday as the sun was setting, I was on 15 meters and I was listening, first of all, to a guy called Rick up in Calgary in California. In Canada. And he was a really good loud signal. I worked him quite a few times. VE6 QC, Quebec Charlie QC. And I worked him, no problem. It was really good. And I was doing other things around here, and I was sitting around listening. And then it was 5:35. I could hear him twice. As plain as day. In fact, I got the wife in and my daughter, we came in and we listened to it. We could hear him. There was, I don't know, 2 or 3 syllables separated his voice. Now, was that long path going long path, or was that long path going along the grey line? Because the grey line was right over top of me, and it was right over the top of Calgary.
I'll yield that to somebody that knows more than I do. Rick or somebody?
Sounds to me like it was going gray line both ways.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Some type of multipath, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like that.
But the other thing that was funny is I could hear everybody he was working. So he was working lots of guys in, over towards New York and through that area, a lot of people down in Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, a few Texans, and I could hear all of them and him, which is very, very rare. It was 15 meters. Usually it's a one-ended thing, I can hear him talking to all these people or somebody like that, and not a thing, but I could hear everybody he was talking to. So it didn't last very long.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. Well, I wish I'd have made a recording. I didn't make a recording, but I've listened since. But, everybody I listen to on the Grey Line, I work a lot of Japanese stations on the Grey Line, they're just kind of leaving the Grey Line, getting into daylight, and we're just getting into dark. Right. It's not perfect, but if you look at Calgary and us are absolutely bang in the middle of the Grey Line.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. And for those of you who may or may not know what we're talking about, when the terminator between night and day, sometimes your radio signals can either jump over that a little more readily or run along it. And that's what we're talking about, running the gray line. And if it's getting dark here and it's getting dark somewhere else in the world, or getting light here, however you want to work it. But there's definitely something to do with that terminator between day and night, that spot where it's getting dark or getting light.
I started doing that with AM broadcast when I was a kid. Very interesting.
Yeah. It's neat stuff. All right. Anything else on that? All right, real quick. Is there anything on the FT8 or grid tracker since I've got it up? Is there anything I can show you guys? Is there anything that you're having issues with? If you're not on FT8, the 80% of us that are would love you to come over. I know it sounds crazy right now, but this is where everybody's at.
Is anybody using JT8 Core?
JS8 call.
JS8 Core. Anybody using it?
I haven't been using it, but
I'll tell you who I hear is using that a lot. And if there's anybody that can clarify, let me know. The CARS team in Charlotte County. Really? They're experimenting the CC flares, CC for Charlotte County, FL Aries, CCFL Aries, CC flares up in Charlotte County. They are working with JS8 Call as an emergency management tool, communication tool for emergency management. So, but I do know that. I have not played with it myself, and I have an offer for someone to come on for it. We're going to be doing it soon.
I would think that would be pretty cool on like 6 meters.
I was thinking 15.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I called this guy like 20 minutes ago, and he's just now calling me back. Hey, glad you got to the radio, bro.
He's probably sitting in the crapper, sitting there watching his radio doing what it does.
That's old Michael. Him and I are on a first name. But, yeah. I'll tell you what, paying that little $10 or whatever fee to QRZ, with $20, whatever it was, to be a data, whatever, XML, it allows you to have all this data at your fingertips. Yeah. And I like it because if there's your azimuth and your miles, I mean, that's what I look at right there, those two things.
What do you do? Put your grid square coordinates in and then it knows
Yeah.
where that station is from you.
Yeah, the mileage, I'm not sure if it extrapolates it from address to address or grid square center to grid square center. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it gives you a general idea of how far it is either way.
Yeah. Kinda
Now
nice.
I'm answering this guy and he's not answering me back. He went back to the crapper again.
Yeah, you're a bit on the limit. Minus 20.
Yeah, I know. I just pumped up the wattage a little bit. I'm up to 75. See if I can get in there. I know I got the wattage up now because I can hear it in my headphones.
I'm going to go and see if I can hear you.
Hey, FT8's cool, man. You just walk up to another ham and just look him right in the eye and go. He should know what you're saying.
Now, do you think your cat could do that?
I think cats invented this language.
That probably did. That sounds like them.
What band are you on?
80.
Oh, 80.
Yeah, I love me some 80.
Oh, there you are.
I'm gonna turn my transmitter. Oh, wait a minute. Here he comes back to me again.
Finally.
He got back off the crapper. Crap on, crap off the crapper. All right. So there we go. I just got that guy. You know, I don't have as much luck calling CQ as I do chasing people.
I usually do search and pounce too.
I like that better. But with a rotor tuner, I can't like jump all over the bands real quick. I have to like do it, in some kind of semblance of order. Oh, dude, there's somebody on there. Damn it.
2C40QB.
See, I was operating in that lane and somebody got in my lane.
Something Colony, Texas. To have a beer.
I got a different lane now.
Well, I'm calling you.
You are. I don't see you.
Because you can put a call sign in underneath DX call,
Yeah.
and then
put it
click,
right here.
and then click generate standard message, and it will throw you, down the 6
Right.
standard sense messages. That's what I did.
Yeah, you put it right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 23.22031 is the frequency. And I'm calling you. And I'm on the even side of the road.
Are you on 3.573?
No, I'm on 2031.
Yeah, I'm on 3.573, 80 meters.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me just move down here a bit. I'm in a clear street now.
Milford, New Hampshire. All right.
Oh, we're probably too close. Oh, in 80 meters we should be working.
Yeah, and we're getting, as the night goes on here, it gets better.
Well, I'm calling you on 80 meters.
What's your call sign?
AC3AV.
Okay.
I'm only putting out about 30 watts. I'm using an 80 meter offset, a 40 meter offset center fed dipole on 80 meters. So it doesn't work that well, but it works.
Okay, there, I got that guy. Now I'm going to put your call sign in here. I put the call sign here, and then I click generate standard message, and I'm going to call you and enable. Are you on even, right?
0, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm on odds. I'm
Oh,
unchecked.
don't see you.
I can see your face. Oh, beneath the springs.
Oh, there you go. Plus 11.
And I worked you on 40 before.
Yeah, you did.
Back on 424.
Yeah, it wasn't on a show, though. I just saw you there, and I thought I'd bang it in. But, yeah, I've given you plus 11.
I'm not hearing you, though, unfortunately.
Oh. No, I'm calling you with plus 11, but you're not calling... Yes, you're... No, you're not.
Now, one of the things you can try, if he can't get me and I can't get him, is we can keep moving around.
Yeah.
Like, I'll turn this off for one cycle and see where I got another spot and then stick it back on again.
Yeah, I've
So-
moved my transmit frequency as well. That sometimes works.
I'm now going to let it run on the other side so I can see what the other side looks like. Okay, here comes the other side. So now we can see what the other side looks like. And looks like I was fairly clear where I was, but I'm going to move way down here to a whole different spot. And then next time around, I'm re-enabling it. So it should, actually, I'm going to move down to here. I'll move down a little bit more so it's clear on both sides. Okay, so now I'm clear on both sides. And I'm going to, there, I'm sending it out now. What you got to realize is you may set your transmit in a spot that looks crystal clear to you,
Yeah.
but there's somebody on the other side of the guy that you're trying to contact that's on that same frequency. And so he's canceling you out, but you don't see him.
Yeah.
So it's good to change frequencies a lot, even if you're pretty sure you're in the clear. If you got a guy over on the other side of the world and you just can't get him, keep moving that thing around. Don't just keep transmitting on the same frequency. You're going to have to find a frequency that you can get through to him on.
Well, according to me, you're on a good frequency here. And we're pretty close. I'm giving you plus 11. And I can see you on... You're now transmitting on the odd cycle. You were transmitting on the even cycle.
Well, I haven't changed this box. It was unchecked before and it's unchecked now.
Oh yeah, but you're still on. You're still on 987 is the sub frequency, but your signal is actually plus 15 now. You're getting even better. And I'm responding, but you're not seeing me. That's hardly surprising. I can only run about, I've tweaked it up to about 30 watts, but I haven't got a very good antenna match here at all on 80, and I can't switch antennas right at this minute. But, okay, well, we tried.
Trust me, I've had limited success getting local folks on this thing.
Oh, I know. 15 meters is worse.
Yeah.
No, just skip right over somebody.
Oh, yeah. 12, 15, 17. The first jump is usually 1,000 miles or something. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and exit out of that and this. All right. Anything else on this? Anything else for FT8? Okay. I have nothing else either. So if does anybody else have anything?
I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, that was a good show considering I didn't have a big plan for tonight. I'll be honest with you guys. It's been a rough week.
Plan topics.
Hey, did anybody see the chat?
No, what's going on there?
Dave Gray was asking the chat. I didn't have it on at the moment. I normally keep it up. If you're listening, Dave. Normally I have the chat up, but I did not at this time. Sorry about that. But the question he asked was, what did y'all end up deciding the pattern of aircraft flights was? And the answer to that is we think it's Google Earth or some kind of photogeometry kind of plane that flies over cities. Usually they fly over relatively large cities to get photogeometry data for Google Earth or for Apple Maps or something like that. So they get like a 3D scan of the city. So you can go and look at buildings and stuff, sort of like Street View, but from like the aerial side of things. That's what I think it was. The patterns were, like Ian said, they lasted a very long time, much longer than like a mosquito spraying thing would. And it was pretty close together. It very precisely went back and forth over and over. So and it was low altitude too. So that's what makes me think it's some kind of geometry scanning airplane owned by a mapping company.
Yep. Yeah, 4,000 feet's a little high it's too high for mosquito control. And it's, so yeah, I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure.
Pterodactyl mosquitoes.
Yeah, I was going to say 4,000 feet, they'd be killing the mosquitoes in Cuba.
Well, I mean, the only other things I thought about was it could be they could be looking for wildlife transponders, you know. But then I'm thinking, well, if they're looking
4,000
for
feet, you'd cover that footprint in one pass.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it was a radio transmitter, they wouldn't need to be near that close together. They're like mowing the lawn. I mean, it's like a mile, 1 mile, like a mile. It's pretty close together. And at 4,000 feet, you're going to hear any radio signal in a wider swath than that, I would think. So.
And the other thing is that they were pretty consistent. Those lines were really parallel. They weren't drifting.
Very
so whatever they had to control their aircraft was bloody good.
Yeah,
because they weren't blowing around all over the place.
No.
Now, if you look at the mosquito one, you know, that kind of serpentines a little bit. Yeah.
But this is very, very stable. I mean, it was just straight line and all equidistant. So it was just,
Yeah.
That was a little crazy. That's why I decided to make it our mystery of the week.
Maybe it's Vladimir.
Did you mention the repeater 775 is back online?
No, we didn't. The 775 is back online. Joseph made some calls, took care of it. And we think that's what did it. Anyway, we're going to say that's what did it. Thanks, Joseph, for getting that repeater back up. He went and worked his ass off on that. And but yeah, it's we don't know what happened. He made a call, told him it was down. I don't know. You know how it is when you call somebody that's not in amateur radio and you say, yeah, I'm not calling to pay my bill. I want to talk to somebody about your amateur radio repeater that's on the roof. And they're like,
and you're
they're like, are you a customer of
like deer in headlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to so when you call them, you can't go direct to a person. I had to keep doing the number for other. They'd ask you, is this about residential or such? And they were like,
no, we don't want to talk
power from us. And I was like, no, this is not about, I want to speak to a site manager or someone who works at the building. And thankfully I actually did get to somebody, and I had to go to the building department. They asked me to the building department, and they said they had been doing a bunch of renovations around there, so it must have got unplugged or something, and they were supposed to call me back. I was not gonna expect them to call me back. I also get so many spam calls on this number that it's possible that they did call me back and I just dismissed it. But all I know is the next day the repeater was online, so maybe they plugged it back in.
The janitor
they bumped the plug out.
Yeah.
They bumped the plug out. It's a good thing we're not dispatching ambulances on this thing.
Yeah,
the janitor unplugged it to put his floor plashing equipment in and something or other, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's back, and it's at least as good as it was. It seems every bit as good as it was. There's no degradation at all. So
just cleaner.